the valedictorian, who is the student with the highest cumulative GPA in the class. The valedictorian for the class of 2024 is Dan Callahan. Congratulations, Dan. Please come to the podium to give your remarks. You may all be seated. And while Dan is making their way up here, I'm going to share some words about Dan. Growing up in the rural county of Orange, Virginia, Dan has always found joy in self-expression through art and design. As a graphic design major and illustration minor, they strive to pursue the in-betweens of the communication arts, creating interdisciplinary work that sits comfortably on the border between art and product. Dan came to Moore in hopes of turning their existing passion into a successful career. After graduation, Dan plans to pursue opportunities that will allow them to explore their love for package design and illustration in tandem. They hope their work will always blend artistic expression with functional design, sparking joy and connection with audiences worldwide. Thank you.
Good morning. Esteemed guests, faculty, families, and my fellow graduates. Today marks a significant milestone for the 72 graduates and their families who have gathered here. It is an honor to address you as valedictorian of our graduating class, representing not just academic achievement, but the collective spirit and determination of every individual in this room. Many of us did not have the opportunity to gather like this 4 years ago when we graduated from high school in the spring of 2020. For me and many of my peers, our collegiate experience began at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. It can be daunting, I think, to look back at where we were 4 short years ago and consider where we are now. I can tell you exactly where I stood, or, well, where I sat. I was playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, trying my best to acclimate to the so-called new normal that had developed in a post-pandemic world. I remember the thing I was most worried about was whether my flowers would wilt before I could breed the color of tulips I wanted to put outside of my in-game character's house. It seems quaint looking back, but it's surreal, isn't it? Times were, and I cannot stress this enough, bad. I'm confident in saying that the first few months of the pandemic were the hardest time of many of our lives. But, as silly as it sounds, I can't stop thinking about those months, how we've moved through them, around them, and beyond them. A journey that began with socially distanced freshman mixers and Zoom call orientations has ended here at the Kimmel Center, surrounded by friends, family, and loved ones, arguably closer as a class than ever before. Some of you I met for the first time through digital worlds and group chats. Others I met through Zoom screens or breakout rooms during the first year of the pandemic. But we are all here in person together to celebrate not only our accomplishments, but our remarkable resilience as students and as people. We made it, despite everything that life threw at us along the way. In a sense, that thread of perseverance has followed us throughout our entire experience at Moore. 3 years ago, I almost changed my major after one class session of Typography 1 because I was scared that I wouldn't be able to learn fast enough or well enough. I don't know a single student at Moore that didn't have a moment like that. A moment of fear, uncertainty that we couldn't do it, only to realize that we were ready, that we were equipped to tackle the challenges ahead of us. Thanks to the support of our faculty and peers, we stuck it out, learned how to grapple with the programs and concepts we were struggling with, and began to apply our existing knowledge to something new. It may have taken hard work, determination, and maybe even a little bit of swearing at times. But we made it through the bad times, the scary times, the uncertain times, and to where we are today. There will likely come a time again when things are, once more, bad. We stand at the brink of a tumultuous presidential election. We stand amid an ongoing genocide in Palestine and worldwide unrest, both here in America and abroad. We must not forget to stay prepared in times of celebration, for peril lurks even in times of progress. When those times come, we have a responsibility as students, as graduates of this institution, to use our voices for good when times are bad. to lift our voices not just in passion, but in reason, intellect, and direct action, to further the success and livelihood of our peers, but also for the good of the underprivileged, the voiceless, and the world as a whole. However, we must also remember that even in times of strife, there will be resolution, a time for rest and recovery. We have weathered 4 years of hard-won growth and progress. We will certainly make it through the next 4 too. If we are resilient, if we use our minds, our voices, and our hearts, we will not only survive, but thrive. We are ready for the challenges ahead, be they in our careers, our personal lives, or the world at large, and we are determined to face them with courage. To reference Animal Crossing, the game that has become emblematic of the pandemic and the connection we found despite it, I encourage all of you to remember that good times are worth celebrating, and bad times are just times that are bad. Congratulations, Moore College of Art and Design class of 2024. I wish you all the best as you move beyond this institution and into the world. Thank you.